Hello and welcome back to Tuesday Night Hype number 78. I'm Derek Brown and joining me here again is W Loss, and we are heading into our second semi-final match here between Yoitsflo and Janetzky. And we've got another really interesting lineup here again. W Loss, would you like to talk us through a little bit about what we can see in the upcoming games?
Yeah, first off, I'll introduce the players. Yoitsflo, a lot of people recognize him from NoSim stream. He's the other voice, usually in the Skype calls. He's always around. He's a high legend player who I don't think has played in too many opens, but he's starting to recently, and he's starting to do really well in them. He's gotten a lot of ACT points up this point. You also might recognize him from DreamHack Austin, where he did play on screen, and I think he finished like 17th or 18th place. He was like so close to being in the top 16 for DreamHack Austin.
Really respectable. Yeah.
Oh, he did incredible. He had that same lineup as Chalky. He helped, I think, actually build that priest that did so well for Chalky. I think he was one of the main components of it. But and then Janetzky, again, another player. If you follow Tuesday Night Hype, I think he's been in maybe one or two semis up to this point, and I don't know if he's won one yet to this point, but he's getting there. He's getting really close.
No, so, definitely. I remember that Janetzky was actually in the semi-finals for the first time that I casted, and I remember he played really excellent, some really good Hearthstone. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see how he performs in this game as well.
Yeah, I do expect a juggernaut match here. And from Flo's side, we see a Druid, Warrior, and a Warlock with a Shaman band. And from Janetzky's side, we see a Hunter, Shaman, and a Warlock with a Warrior band. And seeing Shaman and Warrior band, that's pretty go-to now. I mean, that's just how it's done. Most players are going to ban one or the other just depending on what you're bringing yourself, and there's just no surprise there.
I think that's like fairly standard bans. I mean, I think a lot of people would consider Shaman and Warrior as the two top tier classes right now. So I think just banning the strongest thing, I mean, like there's a fair chance that one of those two classes are the strongest against your lineup. So yeah, I really think there's both fine bans from both players.
Yeah, and we see Janetzky getting his Shaman in. He's not going to lead off with it. We're going to see a Warlock mirror where Yoitsflo is bringing Zoo, and Janetzky is bringing a Reno variant.
Yeah, interesting. I've got to be honest, I don't really know how this matchup goes because I don't really play either side. I haven't played Warlock very much at all since Whispers of the Old God. So how do you think this matchup's going to work out?
I can help you there. Control Warlock is probably my most played class in Reno now. Now that Handlock's gone, and I'll tell you right now, with Reno in the hand for Janetzky, it'll probably be an uphill battle for Yoitsflo when it's all said and done. That's the main card you need. And having an early play in Peddler is also super nice. You also have Shadow Flame, and you also have Twisting Nether. You have a lot of the tools you're going to need. As long as you don't get steamrolled as the Reno player against the Zoo, and as long as you do have the Reno, you should be in an okay spot. Yoitsflo does have the early tools. He has the early curve, and sort of the early curve. He has a double one drop here. You know, he's playing stuff. He's filling out his mana. But if I was Janetzky, I'd be happy, because really what you do need is just Reno and some board clears. You want Hellfire, and you want Reno. He doesn't quite have the Hellfire, but he has some other options to work with.
Yeah. It's interesting because I would personally assume that the Zoo would be favoured, but I guess
Zoo is favoured.
Zoo is favoured. You would say. Oh 100%. Right, okay.
But with this hand, with the tools, the Reno wins with the right tools.
Okay, interesting.
That's pretty much every matchup, but especially in Reno.
Yeah. And I think the thing is from Yoitsflo, although he did have the ability to go one drop into turn 2, 2 1-drops. He is not representing that much damage, actually, because the Voidwalkers, although they are quite resistant to a lot of early game minions with their 3 health, the 1 damage isn't that threatening, and that's really what he wants against Janetzky in the early game.
No, you're exactly right, and like that's how Zoo wins. They just steamroll you, and your opponent, and you don't give the Reno chances. That's basically it. You're not giving the Reno a chance to do things because he has to be reactive. Sure. But with this low pressure, he's going to get a shot to do a couple different things coming up on this next turn.
Sure.
I'm curious if we want to coin out Argus and make a trade and just kind of get those minions on the field.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a fairly decent play because it does allow you to very cleanly trade into one of the Voidwalkers, and the 2/3 body from the Argus is actually really relevant at this stage in the game. Yeah.
There's 3 plays in my mind. There's tap into Soulfire. There's coin Argus, and there's coin Shadowflame. Those are the 3 plays I see. He's opting for the coin and the Soulfire. He loses the Argus, but at least he didn't lose Reno. I think the game's over if you lose Reno. So
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I mean, like, coming up, he will be able to drop one of his slightly higher attack minions coming up, like Spellbreaker, Reno, or Emperor, and then the Shadow Flame becomes really good. It's almost going to be a guaranteed board clear on Yoitsflo's board.
But the Dark Iron Dwarf allows him to trade up. It's 4/4 minion is nothing to scoff at in this matchup. Yeah. It's really nice. It's actually a little bit difficult to deal with because Hellfire doesn't deal with it effectively. Sure. And on Janetzky's end, losing, we don't have a great play.
Yeah. I mean, what options have you got? You could go with the Spellbreaker and hope that it will eat up a couple of these Voidwalkers, but even then, that's just quite a slow play.
I'm pretty sure Spellbreaker is what you kind of have to go. I don't think you can. You should have. By the way, this is actually semi-relevant. I think putting that silence on one of the taunters is a little bit more effective than putting it on the 4/4.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
It didn't. Honestly, it almost doesn't matter which taunter you put it on, but getting rid of a taunt there is a lot more relevant than.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't actually. Can you think of a reason why he would silence the Dark Iron Dwarf there?
No.
Yeah,
I can't.
That does seem like quite an odd play to me.
I think it was kind of just playing a little bit fast and not seeing the relevance in the taunt minions.
Yeah.
But that's I don't know. I can't really agree with that. I mean, they both die. At the end of the day, that won't matter.
Yeah.
Because of the juggles, but it seemed odd. Maybe a little bit Janetzky just playing a little bit fast.
Sure. Yeah. No, I can see that. And I mean, here, this is like where a lot of the extreme unfairness from Zoo can be seen, because being able to play Forbidden Ritual with 2 Knife Jugglers out is a huge play and might just be a little bit too much pressure for Janetzky to deal with, because the coin Reno here, it's good. Like, obviously healing for 17 is a huge amount of comebackness in this game, but he's still looking at a lot of damage on the board.
And that's why I said the other card you really want in this matchup is Hellfire, because the Hellfire with that Mortal Coil would just set up a nice Reno for next turn, and it would have been just so clean. But here you're leaving 9 damage on the board and the potential to add a lot more with these juggles. So you're leaving a lot of threat. You do heal 17, but this is it. That's all your heal in your hand.
Yeah.
So you need to make this count.
Yeah.
You don't have the early meaning the pair of Shadow Flame right now. So going forward, it's like next turn, Emperor is kind of maybe the only play I'm really seeing at the moment. And like, while that's great, it'll make your Twisting Nether playable on 7. You need to think if that's enough, and maybe we'll have to see what he draws, because this is going to be a lot of pressure coming here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's very unlikely that Yoitsflo will leave up the Reno, and therefore the Shadow Flame is just going to be once again sitting as a dead card in Janetzky's hand, and you can't really afford to have too many dead cards at this point in the game.
Yeah, so that's a card to pair with Shadow Flame.
Absolutely,
that's a nice draw.
Really nice pickup.
That is. Wow, and then you set up the coil and Emperor for next turn. I think you kind of have to go that route. Yeah, you have to clear the 4, 7, 9 points of damage that would clear.
Yeah.
You have to.
I
would say.
That's just, the amount of damage that would come to your face next turn is just too much, I think. This is a really nice play. Just trying to gain back the board control, because all he's really doing is not worrying about getting the maximum amount of value from all his minions, because his minions are just so much higher in value than the Zoo's minions will be. So if he can just stabilize and stay alive, then he's going to be in a condition to just win this game as the game progresses, I think.
I agree. I think that was his best draw outside of Hellfire, so that was really nice. Sure. It keeps him alive. I think if we're Janetzky here after the pretty nice ritual, I think that's the play you just have to make there. You have to coil first. You're hoping for Demon Wrath Demon Wrath would be nice into
Good
Brand.
point. Yep.
But we didn't get it, so I think Emperor is probably the play.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is going to be cleared up. You can probably assume that there's going to be some kind of damage buff to get rid of it fairly easily. But even then, on the following turn, if he develops any more minions, you can just Twisting Nether to bring back the board control. To maybe go into a Jaraxxus play on turn 9 to potentially heal up.
The problem with not playing Emperor here is I don't know if you play it ever again if you don't. I think this is your only chance maybe to play it really effectively. And, you know, with Brand in hand, this Refreshment Vendor could have gotten more value. So I think I would have liked to see Emperor a little bit more than the Vendor, but I can understand being maybe a little bit scared of the damage that could be in his hand, because a lot of his cards have been sticking in close hand for a while.
Yeah. And I think in addition to the heal that you get from Refreshment Vendor, you also get to life tap. And I think he's maybe thinking at this point in the game, he doesn't need cheaper cards, he just needs more cards. And being able to life tap and then heal means he's able to get more cards, but also stay at a respectable life total. So I do see his reasoning behind that play, definitely.
The reasoning makes sense. But yeah, I just don't know if we'll ever see Emperor played now.
Sure.
It's pretty sweet Twisting Nether.
Yeah.
That's
really nice.
Really nice coming up here, and then you'll leave Yoitsflo with a Soulfire and Power Overwhelming in his hand.
Sure.
That's you knew those two cards or something like that, because they have been sitting there for quite some time. Flo does get the Imp-King Bellas and the Dark Peddler, which will fill his board back up using most of his mana, which that's good. But we were running out of board clears on Janetzky's side.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he's looking to probably now develop enough minions of his own to be able to start contesting the board with minion damage. And I mean, we are seeing yet more healing. The Cult Apothecary is going to be pretty nice here. Healing for 6 is definitely fairly respectable. And then a potential another 3 from the Earthen Ring Farseer.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Did Flo just meme us getting an Angry Chicken over like 2 better options?
He absolutely did. We just got memed hard.
Like there was like definitely better options, right?
I mean, there was the Zealous Initiate and a Corruption.
Well, at least the Zealous Initiate's a better option, right? It's a 1/1 that like actually does something.
I mean, have you read the card text on the Angry Chicken? That is +5.
What's the idea? Are we power overwhelming it and like, is there like a secret coil? And like it does
you power overwhelming it, and then you Soulfire your own Angry Chicken. That's an extra 1 damage out of Soulfire.
Yeah, you do get 1 more damage. Is this even a meme? Is this just how you win? I'm sorry to
the meme.
go off on his tangent. I'm just curious. There's a method to this madness. I love it. This is great.
It, yeah, and there is like might be potentially a pipe dream, but you can get value with an Argus here. It's not exclusively a meme play. It's just largely.
It's semi-memey, but we do see the Brand into Colt, which was right off the top. That was great timing for that card to come.
Yeah, I agree.
You get 12 clean damage taken back, and you're back at 27 health. Janetzky's been relentless this game, and it's been really nice.
No, I agree. Being able to keeping the Brand till this point so that you can get a lot of value out of it, like double healing for 6, is really nice. And I mean, it's been a lot of pressure and a lot of damage from Yoitsflo, but Janetzky's still at 27 health. Like, he's still looking really healthy at this point. And his high-value minions like Emperor Thaurissan and maybe at a later stage Jaraxxus are going to be able to hopefully wrestle back board control from Yoitsflo.
He has been really relentless, and he has been holding back the tides of Yoitsflo this entire game. It's been pretty wild, and then bye-bye Angry Chicken. This makes me sad. I mean, there was so much potential for if there was a coil on the list, we could have done so much damage.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Oh well.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Wait.
So the Demon Wrath, it's not going to affect either the Imp Gang boss or the spawned Imp, but I mean, it's only going to clear the Abusive Sergeant and the Dark Peddler, so it's not clearing that much damage off the board at the moment. So he might be looking at something else, maybe an Emperor Thaurissan and Earthen Ring Farseer to heal himself up yet again, and also develop more minion presence on the board.
I think I agree. Again, we need to just at some point play this Emperor Thaurissan.
Yeah.
He's looking like he wants to tap, which is fine. If we pull a Hellfire off the top, it is really, really good.
Yeah.
And that is a 1 in 13. I'm trying to think what else comes off the top. That's just really, really strong.
I know. I mean, I'm still trying to get my head into the standard space. I just keep thinking, if Dark Bomb came out, it could be so nice for me to finish off the Darkshire Councilman. But
I think this is the safe and consistent play. I think you do need to just go ahead and put these minions on the board now.
Yeah, I like it. Low risk.
Yeah, this just kind of seems correct. From Flo's end, I think he's finally going to maybe get his chance to pressure. I think that's all of the healing in the deck. Yeah. It has to be. So now he knows he is outside of Jiraxis or Alexstrasza. I don't know if there is an Alex's list. Jiraxis can technically be heal. Outside of those cards, he can finally feel like he can apply pressure. So I think he's going to go forward with that idea. He's also going to maybe take note that there wasn't a Hellfire, because I think it would have been played for sure last turn.
I think that's exactly right.
So I think he's just kind of going to go, like, there's no not going all in here. You have to win this game sooner than later.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I just had a look at Janetzky's deck list. There is not Alexstrasza, so this is all the healing outside of Lord Jiraxis that we're going to see. So he really is going to have to. This is his last stand.
Yeah,
he
this
has
really
to clear off this board now.
Yeah, and this is Yoitsflo's last stand in a lot of way. He has to win in the next few turns, or there's just not going to be enough time to win. Yeah. He has to do it.
Yeah.
So he recognizes no Hellfire. It's smart for him. Just no horses back. We got to go.
Sure. Yeah, I think both of these players are really recognizing the situation they're in really well. And I mean, from Janetzky now, the Siphon Soul on the Darkshire Councilman doesn't feel great, but you might just have to clear it off lest it become even scarier.
That would leave 8 damage on the board. You're at 16 health. So next turn you have
19 health with the heal from Siphon Soul as well.
Oh, that's correct. Excuse me, you're correct. I'm trying to figure out how this maps out in your next few turns.
I mean, Kodo is probably going to get some kind of value, even if it's fairly small. So that's a pretty nice card to have. Ooh. Really going to be wishing now that he still had that Siphon Soul, because the Doom Guard is really powerful with no cards discarded at all.
Yeah, this is actually the end of the game, I would say.
Well, what have you got? You could, with Senjin and facelessing your own Senjin, you are then able to build up a 10 health wall, but you're staring down 16 damage on board. 14 damage on board. So that would potentially keep you alive for a turn. And you could throw in Demon Wrath to try and weaken the opponent's board, even if you're not clearing much off. But these are pretty desperate plays at that point.
Trying to figure out if... Okay, I think the actual cleanest way to win this game is playing Jiraxis and staying alive that way. Clearing that taunt and hoping you draw Leroy and win next turn.
Got you. Okay.
This is actually how you win this game.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Just saving Faceless Manipulator, so you save your complete combo of Leroy, Power Overwhelming, and Faceless will give him the 20 damage he needs to finish off this game. Which I really like.
It's low odds, but I think it's your only actual out. So he takes it, which is smart. He recognizes it and takes it. Yeah. So basically, he gives himself a 1 in 10 chance to win.
Yeah.
Barring some other draws that might come. Some things could happen here. Argus off the top would actually be great. Have we seen Argus? No, he got discarded.
Discarded. That's right. Yeah. And even then, even if he doesn't get his Leroy, there is potentially a contingency plan in playing the Senjin and Faceless this turn instead.
Yep.
Just to try and protect yourself for one more turn. He doesn't get the Leroy, unfortunately. So if he does go for Senjin and Faceless, that is going to leave him one health.
Yeah, but it'll keep him alive, and he will have. Yeah. If he throws his weapon into his face, then he's still setting up lethal.
That's true.
He's still setting up lethal for Leroy and Power Overwhelming. So again, you kind of have to go the same plan. I think you have to kind of go all in on the Leroy draw.
Yeah.
Or you're not playing to win from this.
No,
spot.
I like it a lot. Yeah, you can't yeah, you're not going to be staying alive for much longer. This really is just delaying the inevitable until you can draw your first combo. And I mean, this is exactly why the Reno Lock is running this combo, isn't it? Because he was able to stay alive for this long with his ridiculous amount of healing. Oh wow, I didn't even think of this play.
It's a lot like the same play, but you threw away your win condition, I believe, though. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, not technically, because you do get the 6/6 out, so like he has to clear your board. So like, Leroy still can be a win condition here.
Yeah.
But there it is. The power roaming draw finishes it.
Wow. Really nice game there. That was like both players got almost everything they wanted. There was a lot of early game pressure from the Zoo, but also so much healing from the Reno Lock as well. So it really felt like in the middle it could have gone either way.
Yeah, that was a really strong game played by both players. There was a lot of really nice hand recognition from both guys, understanding what the current state of the game was at that time, and like they had such good reads on each other. And I really like, even though Janetzky lost, I really liked his understanding of how he was going to win that game, and he went for it, and it was strong. That's how you win that matchup. You know, you honestly do need the Leroy to win in a lot of cases, and it's really sad he didn't get it. But from here, we'll go into our next matchup, and it's Janetzky on his Hunter and Flo on his Warrior.
So I know that traditionally throughout Hearthstone, I feel that Hunter has done fairly well against Warrior because they're a class that doesn't necessarily have explosive amounts of early board control in the early game. They are very consistent in their damage. They have powerful drops throughout the game, especially with the addition of cards like Call of the Wild. And even just their hero power, which is going to be constantly keeping the Warrior hero power in check throughout the game.
Yeah,
but
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, these are some pretty nice draws from Janetzky, getting some of his 2-drops. But part of the benefit of playing a tempo warrior deck like it appears Yoitsflo is playing is that you are fairly consistent in your early game. You will often be running, I think, 8 3-drops in your deck, so you're very likely to get them. And when you're on the coin, it's really nice to be able to play them on turn 2 and turn 3 as well.
Yeah, and we're looking at a deadly shot possibly for Janetzky. The other option is the Flame Juggler 50/50 or a Igor Bow.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel great. Yeah, or Kill Command. You have a lot of options to get rid of this card. None of them feel perfect.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I really wouldn't hate the deadly shot here because just leaving a Frothing Berserker on the board just potentially represents so much damage for the Warrior. So you really just always need to clear that as soon as you see it, usually.
I agree. I think that was my favorite play. And here, okay, we're back to another 50/50 that is pretty strong if it hits. That Juggler into Quick Shot. I think Zixo would say that's game-winning, or some of the saltier players on the Twitter would say that's kind of a game-winning Juggler there. That'd be a pretty strong play.
Huge tempo swing. Yeah.
But it looks like Janetzky might just offer the kill command. He's looking around.
Does he believe?
I think I would do it. I don't know.
I mean, assume that you don't win the juggle. What do you do then? You're pretty sad at that point.
Aren't you sad you're using a kill command here, though, as well?
That's a good point, yeah.
Aren't you sad you're floating a mana and kind of... It's just...
I'm very sad.
I'm not happy about that.
Yeah. But so, again, on Yoitsflo's side here, not a lot of brilliant plays. With the double Armorsmith play, it's decent because neither of them died directly to the elephant.
And it sets up
It
sets up a nice battle rage for next turn, potentially.
True.
You can Ravaging Ghoul into battle rage, draw 3 cards, and then trade off one of your Smiths into the Elic.
That's a really good
Especially
point.
now that the Juggler did not go well for you.
Well, yeah. Good thing you didn't go for the 50/50 if he hit 33.
Yeah, exactly. And we do see the Camel come out and get a 2/1, so the Ravaging Ghoul will produce value there as well.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice Ravaging Ghoul here, I'd say, definitely.
I think it's your way. You might opt for, like, Bloodhoof Brave Whirlwind instead, but I think this is just way too clean.
Yeah.
You get 3 cards, and you deal a lot of stuff up. You know, gaining
And
armor.
Yeah.
Putting a 3/3 on the board. It's pretty nice.
Oh, 4 cards even. Wow.
Oh, wow. The juggles for Janetzky are not hitting right now.
Yeah, really poor juggles from him.
You know, you can even value trade into the juggler. I like this.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot because, I mean, the reason why you would trade into the Elic is just because it does represent more damage. And the fact that you're gaining armor from your Armor Smith kind of negates that in a way.
Yeah, you don't really fear Unleashed Hounds like you used to. It's either being cut or like a one-of. So I like this. You're challenging the hunter to deal with these 1/1s. They're annoying and they're relevant.
Sure.
Due to the armor count, and you know, it's just that was just so clean, and that juggle hitting the Ravaging Ghoul was so everything's just so relevant in this little weird nitpicky tempo game. And you're looking at a 7-card hand for Yoitsflo and a 2-card hand for Janetzky.
No,
it just can't feel good.
I totally agree. I mean, like, that's just the.
So fair. Sorry, I couldn't, like, this is just so clean.
You can't believe how disgusting this is. I mean, like, but this is the thing. When you get all the answers you need, you're very, very likely to make these extremely clean plays, these extremely high tempo and value plays.
Oh, and Janetzky gets the bow off the top. That can't feel good with bow in hand.
This is just, really has not gone well for Janetzky through no real fault of his own.
Oh, he's played fine. He's done great. He put a lot of early minions out. And he's opting just to play every card here. Is this a concede?
No, I think
it's just a quick shot. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Usually when I see like a disregard for like weapon durability, I'm like, oh, they can concede. And there's quick shot didn't get in its value, but
it kind of feels like it may well be. Because even like assuming he draws almost perfectly from this point in, getting like Call of the Wild into Call of the Wild, it feels like it just might not be enough because Yoitsflo has got a lot of his high value cards in Ken and Rag. And he's got answers in Slam and Execute. He's just got everything he want, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and Janetzky has that Call of the Wild off the top. Wow. Well, that's what Call of the Wild does. It saves you on turn 8. I think that card gets drawn on turn 8 more than any other card in the game. I'm pretty positive about that. And Yoitsflo just snap rags. Just snap rags because, like, you have 31 health, and your opponent has to deal with it, and it hits the best target on the board.
Wow. Really nice.
So nice. I like the snap rag there.
Yeah,
and,
I agree. He does recognize that he's on a high enough life total that even if Rag does miss, he's still in a good position. And he's just, although Janetzky is starting to apply a fair amount of pressure, Yoitsflo's just got so many cards still. He's got the answers, and he's going to be able to just shred through Janetzky's minions here in the hope that Rag will be able to finish off the Tiger as well.
Yeah, he also doesn't fear something like Deadly Shot. He's already seen one. Janetzky has no cards. So yeah, this is Flo doing Flo math. Flo's a very fast playing player. He knew exactly just how to clear all of that really nicely, and like that turn's just over. It's so it's very flowy, but
very flowy.
I love it. Very very flowy. Going forward, I mean, he can't quite set up lethal. Now he can. He can set up a potential lethal, is what I mean. If he so chooses.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think you might as well, or not. You don't.
Yeah.
You just
No, I agree. I mean, it almost feels like it doesn't really matter how
however you do this, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
He opts just to go for the full clear, and I mean, like, empty hand, empty board. What can Janetzky do?
Yeah, he doesn't even wait to see what card he draws.
It was fiery bad. That wouldn't have been very clean.
Oh, really?
It was fiery bad. You got the world champion on your side at least, but I mean, that was a clean. I mean, Janetzky had the early tools, but that draw, and then some of the rolls that went Flo's side were just too strong.
No, definitely. And that was just like a perfect example of just when everything goes right for the Warriors side. Like getting that like Battle Rage can be a really sad card when it's drawing you 1, but when it draws you 4, it kind of feels like, how can you lose? It's just such a powerful card, and all the others really performed what they were needed to do to the best of their ability.
Yeah, it's Temper Warrior is good. Warrior strong, fiery war axe. That's all it takes.
Yeah,
and from below, we see the Innervate Twilight Altar into Wildgrowth next turn. Luckily for Janetzky, he also has a pretty nice curve, but
yeah,
this strong.
Yeah, these are 2 pretty strong hands. I mean, from Flo, you had Innovate and Wildgrowth, 2 cards that you always want to see in the early game for a Druid. Doesn't opt to go for it on turn 2, for the Wildgrowth, sorry, on turn 2.
Go ahead.
I think it's a fine play, because it does mean that he's able to kill the Fiery Bat and keep his Twilight Elder at full health.
Yeah, it shows recognition of his next few turns and how he's going to use his mana, because now he can Wildgrowth Living Roots into Druid Claw. It's a really nice way. He's just counting everything out perfectly. Like, he knows, there's no reason to actually Wildgrowth here, because I can just do this next turn because it won't matter. I'm putting 4 mana cost card in my hand.
Yeah.
So a lot of players snap play that Wildgrowth. For Flo here is doing a really good job of recognizing, okay, this is how I should map out my turns. This is how I win this game.
It a lot. Yeah.
It's really strong.
Yeah, it does mean he's able to utilize all of his mana on all his turns. And also the fact that the Twilight Elder was able to stick around for, I think, was it 3 turns and get 3 procs on the Cthulhu. He's almost at the point where he's activating his Klaxi Amber Weavers and Twin Emperor Vector already from that single card, which is where the real unfairness of the deck is made clear, I think.
Yeah. For Flo, even though he's done so well, he has been playing so on curve that he is kind of running out of resources, which is a little disheartening, honestly. He needs like a Nourish Sim. But this Cthulhu's Chosen should be sticky enough to deal with what is in Janetzky's hand. Janetzky can run away with this. There is 1 minion on board and a 1 card in hand, and you have a lot of stuff going on for you. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, this is getting to the point where even though Janetzky's at 16 health, Yoitsflo needs help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a really nice like RNG with the juggle there and getting the bow to be able to clear off his minion, because Yoitsflo is really looking to protect his minions with all he's got at this point, because he doesn't have he hasn't got any left at this point. He's only got what's on the board, which is a 2/1, and so he's really going to be looking to draw some of his higher damage minions or higher cost minions even. And he does have a fairly high end to his deck. He is running obviously Cthulhu and Twin Emperor, but he's also running Rag, Emperor, both Dark Arakoas. So, I mean, there are quite a few good draws at this point in the game.
Yeah, and Janetzky goes all in his hand. I actually would have liked to see her Hero Power over the King's Zealot there. But, yeah, I mean, Janetzky's thinking to himself, oh, wow, Flo has 1 card. As long as it's not swipe, I'd probably just win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, swipe, and now we're at a place where we're top decking. We're in a top decking war. It's kind of insane.
Absolutely. And I mean, at this point, now that both players have very limited cards, I'd say that especially with excellent top decks like Nourish, which is a one-of in his deck, Mohed, it's a one-of, I think things are looking very positive for Yoitsflo here.
That was so timely.
If only chat could see your face here. I can see you're just cringing so hard at these.
Because, like, Janetzky's done a lot in the last couple games to, like, all the games. Like, I'm really impressed by Janetzky's play.
Yeah.
But some unfortunate things have happened, honestly.
Yeah.
And, you know, Flo, just perfect curve play here. And it's going to be really hard for Janetzky to come back unless the top deck called the Wild. He immediately goes for the 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, that's not... It's not a terrible one to hit there. Getting off the Divine Shield in 1, that's pretty good. You're obviously sad that you didn't hit the Dark Arrow, but it's still a good outcome for Deadly Shot, I think. But,
Flo just goes straight for... He just wants to draw Cthulhu and win. He's just going in, hurting the Emperor. It doesn't matter. He just wants to rotate cards and get faster to Cthulhu. Like, this game's already almost over, but... Yeah, and there it is. I mean,
that was just really lucky for Yoitsflo. That was just such a clutch Nourish. If he hadn't drawn that or some of his higher value minions, he would have been in a really bad spot, because Janetzky also had lots of good draws with either of the high mains, assuming he runs two, either of the Call of the Wilds. He could have been in a really dominating position very quickly, but just didn't go his way in the end.
Yeah, I have to say I was really impressed by Janetzky's play. He did really well, and Flo also played perfectly well.
Yeah.
They both played perfect those series. I really do believe that was really strong play. Flo comes out on top. He had some really nice lists. I feel bad for Reno. I think that was rough. But it was fun. That was a fun series. I liked seeing that play, and I like seeing stuff like Cthulhu and Druid, and I know that's actually coming up now, and a lot of people are starting to play that more, but I think it's a really interesting list. That was fun.
Yeah, I think that was a really nice series.
Congrats to both players for making it this far. Congrats to Janetzky for getting a point, and congrats to Flo for moving on, and he's going to get 3 or 2 points, and we have a pretty cool little finals coming up with LBS and Yoitsflo.
Oh, we've got a really nice final here. Yeah, I'm really excited to see especially how I think the Cthulhu Druid will match up, because it feels like it was very popular at the start of Whispers of the Old Gods, and it's starting to make a comeback again in a lot of people's deck lists. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how that pans out.